Hello there. Starscream back. I know it's been a long time. Sorry, I've been absolutely busy and I'm absolutely shattered and absolutely tired. But I just wanted to let you guys know that I hadn't forgotten about you. And as a result of that, I was looking through some Transformer related memorabilia and I suddenly was reminded of something that I forgot about. The original Transformer annuals. Yes. So what I thought I'd do is I'd just have a little look through them with you. It's been a long time. You know, are they any good? Are they worth getting? Or are they really simplistically, you know, just for kids? Well, we're going to find out now, because it's been that long since I've looked at them. And I'll try to go through them in some sort of relative order. Right. Let's go for the very first one that came out. What I will do, actually, is I'll take some photos of them, so you can see them better than what I'm going to display them on the camera. And then you can work out for yourself whether you actually want to go out and buy them. They're always floating around on eBay. And, you know, you probably think, is it worth having or not? You know, some of them are good, and some of them are not so good. And hopefully we'll work out which are the good ones. Yeah? Sound good to you? Yeah. Sounds good to me. Oh, is it just me that thinks it sounds... Yeah, forget it. I think it sounds good, and that's good enough for me, for the time being. Right, the original one that came out, The Complete Works Part 1. An interesting annual. Oh my goodness, this is old. This actually came out in 1984, so it makes sense. It's one of 4 of the original... I think these were the original comic stories. And yes, they were. And it is essentially the Arrival from Cybertron, we called it in this country. What did you call it in the States? You didn't call it Arrival from Cybertron, you called it, I can't remember. And you know what? I'm not looking it up. So, to hell with it. It's just Arrival from Cybertron. You see, the artwork is very reminiscent of its time. Now, I can't see what the camera's actually picking up, but I will take pictures. If any of this comes out atrociously bad, I'll take separate pictures of some of the artwork to show you how things have progressed through the time. The thing that always shocked me with this one, though, is the cover art. Look, that's Optimus Prime and Soundwave, and Soundwave is much, much bigger than Optimus Prime, and he looks like he's beating the shit out of him. And Laserbeak's the wrong colour. Laserbeak is green for some reason. And it's I don't know why, but it is. Very interesting artwork. It's even emphasised round on the back as well. And this was originally $2.95. Last of the big spenders. And then we have the second one, The Complete Works Part 2, which is essentially the same price. I'm willing to bet it came out the same year. Cannot remember. My one is really badly split. Yes, it come 84 to 85, yeah. And yet again, the artwork is still very reminiscent of the time, because it's following along that you can buy all of these stories nowadays. I mean, they've taken all the comics and the old annuals and they put them all together, and you know, you can buy them in complete sets and it's really nice and neat, and it doesn't matter if you don't want to read the original comics because they're all in these books, so you can keep the comics nice and safe and you can read it, so you get the best of both worlds really. But these two together you must have. There's no point having them individually. It's the complete story, and I think it ends with Shockwave coming down or waking up, something along those lines, and destroying them all. Have a look. This was in the comic book. Oh no, it isn't. They just run out of power. Well, whatever, you know. Would I recommend them too? Well, yes, really, because it's the origins of Transformers, so you really got to have it, haven't you? Now, I think these are in... No, they're not in order. What a stupid sod I am. Annual. Some of these are rare. Now, I've lost track of where I was going as regards keeping in with... Alright, I think this one come next. This is probably the most disappointing of the lot. This come out in 85, yeah. So this one, I would say, is the dullest of them all. I don't know why, it just lacked something. The stories are dull, the artistry is boring, and the puzzles and stuff, much as I suppose at the time they may have been puzzling to a child, to me they're just unbelievably dull. And look, the artwork is considerably atrocious, and you know, it really, and the story doesn't really go anywhere. These sort of stories that these ones started having are written separately for each annual, so if you want to get hold of these stories you have to get the annual, and they're quite good. Missing in Action was quite a good one, although that does resolve around flipping, oh, what is it now? What was it? I was just going to say irritating flipping, there's that kid again with tracks. Sorry, I'm looking down, it's been a long time, it has been that long since I read it. This is some of the best artwork in it, where there's the fight going on. Now, I think this is originally in one of the comics too. This is probably the best part of having this annual, but then again, I think it's in the comics. So, but for the artwork in the book alone, and this is probably the best fight in it, that's definitely worth getting it for that. but nothing else. So if you got the part of that that's out in the comics, I wouldn't recommend it really. Right, now I think this is probably one of my favourite ones, and this is essentially the first one I ever got. Ooh, a bit blurred there. 350, now we're moving up. Lovely bit of artwork of the Dinobots. It's worth having it for that. I mean, that is spectacular. I love that picture. And at the back it's got a who's who, which was really good. I loved used to going through this as a kid. I thought it was brilliant. The stories in it are superb. The puzzle parts in it are actually quite difficult, even for somebody who's a big Transformer fan. And there's this brilliant story with Jazz having a one-on-one with Starscream, which I can just try and show you a picture there, which was great. See? It is excellent. This is highly recommended. As quite simply one of the best. Yeah, this is. I love this annual. One thing I will tell you out of note, which is kind of sad because I am this sad. Omega Train got sliced in half by Grimlock as well, but this is a dream they're going through, so it's not actually in reality. But it's interesting. This scared the shit out of me as a kid, and so much so that I rubbed it out. But this isn't the original annual, so it doesn't really matter because I've got another one. See that picture there? I saw that as a kid and went, oh god, that's horrible! So I got a big black marker pen and rubbed it out. What a wimp! So, definitely recommend this one. Highly recommended. Now I'm slightly unsure as to where we go. If I was a betting man, wish the dates were on these things. Sorry, I'm spending a lot more time looking at these than talking to you guys, but you know what? Who cares? 87, you don't really want to see me staring at the camera anyway. 87, I'm guessing this one is... I might edit some of this out. Yeah, I think this is the next one. Great, Ultra Magnus, Galvatron, we're moving into a separate phase now. This has been signed, see? Very nice. Yes, it's got a bit of interesting story about Swoop in it. What was it now? Yes, I think this is all part of the comic book run, but I'm not sure. But this goes into the Headmasters and the later battle with... which is, I think it's to do with Target 2006. But that aside, the annual is very nice. The backstories are written separately for this are the best parts. And they do resolve a lot around the Headmasters. This is the time that obviously Hasbro are trying to get, you know, offload some toys on people. And then the bit that I always love are the tech spec bits like that. I love anything like that. Look like that. Excellent, excellent. Worth having for that alone. And I do like the head-on versus between Ultra Magnus and Galvatron. Although the cover art is somewhat atrocious, look. I mean, that is shockingly shite. It really is bad. Man, it really is rotten. And it seems to me that Ultra Magnus has got some sort of shoulder-mounted weapon. I'm not sure what's going on with that. He has them here, granted, but not there. Now, the next one, which... I think it's this one, because we're still continuing on the Headmaster thing. This is a great one. We're up to 395. I'm sure we were higher a minute ago. Is this one older or younger? Check. 88. No, we seem to be going. It's got a lot out of the comics that were going at the time now, in this one. But the artwork's always great, and the in-story here, I think, recaps a bit what was going on in the previous, so they're running a concurrent storyline. But that aside, we've got the tech specs in it again. We've got a mini poster part there, which obviously if you rip it out, the book will fall to pieces. And yet again, we have the obligatory separate stories. Prime Bomb. I mean, my goodness, that's pretty good. And that introduces to Power Master Optimus Prime. Great story. The end story with the Wreckers and on Cybertron and Rodimus Prime Shiner work things out with them is excellent. It's quite violent actually for a kid's comic, but man, yet again, one to get. So far I'm coming down quite favourably on these. What do we got left? What do we got left? I have two versions of that annual for some reason. Don't ask me why, because I can't remember. Alright, so stop asking me. Right, now it's between these two. I cannot remember which is... I am missing one of the annuals, and it is ultra rare. Now, these two are pretty flipping rare, but that one is ultra rare. This one? Okay, now we're up to Power Master Optimus Prime, but Megatron's still... Now, look at that. That's a good picture. Sweet. I like Megatron anyway. We've got some stories continuing here. Really nice shot of Ultra Magnus there, getting the shit in his face, look. And Galvatron, yeah, ain't looking too cool himself. Now, yeah... We've got a mini poster of the Dinobots yet again. Well, yet again, it's the first one of the Dinobots, apart from that big open spread we had of the other annual. Destiny, was it Destiny of Dinobots? Yeah, it is. And we've got a nice bit of... I'm not sure. I do not think this was part of the comic book run, this story. I can't be sure, but I don't think it was. Somebody probably put me straight, but no, I don't think it was. And it's an interesting story anyway. I mean, you guys have got to get this if you want to read it. I'm not going to give too much away of this stuff. What's the point? Introducing of them Micromasters. I never liked the Micromasters, you know. I don't like them. Sorry, I just don't like the guys. Anyway, just my opinion. Now, that is a good picture, yet again. And that is of those weird... Is that supposed to be wheelie? No, it can't be. Trigger happy, the story's called. These are the things that's worth having it for. Really, they are. And that's an independent story as well. And then we got Dreadwing and Darkwing introduced. Excellent. And I think this is yet again a story that is... no, is it in the comics? No, I think this one is in the comics. You'll put me... No, I think this is in the comics, but I can't remember. Let's have a look at this. What's this part of it? Trigger happy. Now, this is another one of those stories that is, you know, exclusive to the annual. They're the main reasons for getting it. I mean, you want the comic excerpts, so fine, but, you know, that's what makes these special, is the stories that were introduced in them. I mean, my favourite one is in... This one is one with Jazz, who goes looking for Hoist, but Jazz actually ends up getting injured and Hoist has to save Jazz. But it's a brilliant story. It's one of my favourites. I've always liked Jazz, and his comic book run was always better than his show run. And this one, look at this. Now, that is a good bit of art. Now we're moving ahead in time, and now look at that. That is something superb. I love that. Whoever drew that, who drew it? Who drew it? Doesn't say. That's definitely out of the comic when Starscream's all been melting from mated to death. That was great. Yet again, the in-stories are superb. There's a good story out the comic book run. Now, this is one of the best. I'm not actually going to show you because I want you to get hold of this. Unfortunately, this is one of the rare ones to get hold of. And you'll pay probably a pretty penny to get hold of it. Update on of the Transformers. Why is it called an update? What's happened to him? Oh, it's just an update on the original Transformers. I'm sorry, but that's a god-awful picture. That really is most unpleasant. But that aside, there's some superb story. Jazz. I think it's because they're re-releasing the classics at this point, so they're a classic Transformers, so that's why it's an update. Is this story part of the comic book run? I am just... You know what? I don't think it... I couldn't bet on it. But I think this is another one of those exclusive stories. Because it doesn't look like something that was meant to be in the comic. The story seems a bit bizarre. But, yet again, sweet, nice one. And now we're up to the last one I've got. Now I am missing one. There's one with the Dinobots on the cover art. I don't have that one. Now on to the G2 annual. I mean, my god, what is that? What a horrible picture of Starscream, look. That is shockingly shite. And the guy next to him. My god! I mean, anything looks right as Optimus Prime's head. We haven't seen the rest of him though, my goodness. Oh man, look! It's just not good. That is bad. No wonder the Transformers lost. We had the Ninja Turtles out. Why do you want this crap? Oh, there's a nice picture of Megatron here. We're getting box art now for pictures because they can't be bothered to do... Look, it's just box art for Jazz. And look at Optimus Prime. They really haven't given a damn about this. The Transformers really were on the end, weren't they? Because they just ripped off look more just box art pictures. They just couldn't even be bothered to get an artist to render some. They just really gave up on this one. And it's one of the smallest annuals. And there's a G2 story in it, which I know is unique to this book, but it's really not that good. And look, the artistry is very bad. My goodness me, they couldn't afford a proper artist, did they? So they just hired his son to do the pictures in his school project time. There's a bit of backstory and stuff, and there's the spot the difference. Now, I could do this with you guys, but I might embarrass myself because I might not find all the differences. But yeah, would I recommend this? Moving Day, Planet Earth. It's a story that's unique to this. You're not missing a lot with that one, and I'm not sure. I don't think it goes for a lot anyway. You just ain't missing that much. So, where does that leave us? Are they worth getting now? Well, for the exclusive stories and some of the artwork, most definitely are. They're something that was related to the time. Don't get things like this so much nowadays because kids don't have a childhood, so straight onto mobile phones, isn't it? And I'm not going to go down that route, moaning about kids nowadays. But literally, that's something which has passed now, annuals along those lines. I know they bring out annuals and stuff nowadays, but something like that you don't see so often nowadays, and they're something quite special, so I would recommend picking them up, even the crappy ones, but not the G2 annual. It really isn't that good. Oh, that's it! That's all I've got to say. I am so tired that I can't think of anything else to say. I hope I haven't bored you. I hope this is some interest to you, the annuals, and that's it, guys. Hope to get a Transform review up soon, so take care, guys, again, and see you out there.